What's up, Gacha Gang? Kawaii50 here with another FGO video, here to talk with you about the arts meme queen, Artoria Pendragon Archer. We're going to be going over all of the best allies, craft essences, and command codes for this squirt gun wielding monster. So if this video ends up helping you out, just go ahead and leave a like, maybe even comment below, or share this video with your friends. Let's get started. To start with, Artoria's stats are great. We've got 14,553 max HP, that makes her 23rd highest HP pool in the game, and also 11,276 attack, which is on the higher end of her attack. She's got a quick arts buster deck with an arts noble phantasm, so she is gonna be able to arts brave chain, which is great because her NP refund capabilities are off the chain. She also has 0.59% NP per hit. This was a buff she had ended up receiving, and it has really helped, just made her even better. And because of her archer class, her star absorption is also very high, so you can expect her arts and quick cards to crit in subsequent turns and give her the NP refund and overall damage that she so desperately craves. Honestly, just even stat-wise, this character is already looking really good. Artoria's first skill is Summer Splash, rank A+. This increases her arts effectiveness by 20 to 30% for 3 turns, and also increases the defense of all of her allies by 10 to 20% for 3 turns. You are always going to be using this as an offensive skill for Artoria, because that 30% effectiveness boost just ends up stacking to some insane levels. But that's not to say that the defense boost isn't super great either. It's nice because it's going to end up keeping her supports alive, and those supports are going to help her deal even more damage and charge that NP gauge even faster. Max this first. Artoria's second skill is Beach House Protection, rank EX. This allows her to recover her own HP by 2,000 to 5,000 at the cost of 10% of her NP gauge. Now, considering sometimes you are going to be running Artoria with some starting NP gauge craft essences, you're gonna be able to use this even if she ends up having a particularly bad first turn against her opponent. Though you don't have to do that, because her NP gain is so good that she should be able to pretty much use this on command. However, it's just a heal. That's really all that it does. It's a very powerful heal, but it is a heal nonetheless, and it is not really a super powerful defensive option. Also, at the cost of that 10% NP gauge, you may end up finding yourself in some tight spots where you have to choose between dealing a bunch of damage or healing Artoria and hoping that she can get through and survive to the next turn. Max this last, it is not super necessary for the way she ends up playing. And Artoria's third skill is Beach Flower, rank B. This increases the attack of all allies by 8 to 18%, so yes, that includes herself, but also increases the critical star drop rate for all male allies by 18 to 38% for 3 turns. Now this is pretty great considering Artoria's got a high star weight. If we're able to generate those good amount of stars on those off turns, we're going to be able to feed them directly into her to help her crit, help her gain more NP, and overall deal more damage. And we're going to talk about a couple of choice allies that end up working really well with this boost over in the ally section in just a moment. Artoria's passives are really good. Territory Creation, rank A, being the standout, increasing her arts card effectiveness by 10%. So yes, classes other than casters can have a really strong Territory Creation skill. I don't know why they didn't give that to Summer Maeve. She really needed it, and you can hear me rant about that in my Summer Maeve video. She's also got Independent Action, rank A, increasing her crit strength by 10%, which is really good as well, considering she's an archer, and archers are pretty much designed to crit. Magic Resistance A is really just the cherry on top. Artoria's Noble Phantasm is Excalibur Vivian, dealing damage between 900 and 1500% to a single enemy. This has a 70% chance to reduce an enemy's NP gauge by 1 as well, and it's also got an overcharge effect, where it will charge Artoria's NP gauge by 20 to 40%. So she gets a really nice NP refund on top of that. Now, if you end up using this in a full arts chain, or even an arts quick arts chain, depending on what allies you have and what bonuses you're using on Artoria, it is not uncommon for her to be able to loop her Noble Phantasm. It is actually what she is famous for. And if you really want to use her on your team, if she is like a must-have, must-use character for you, even though she's a 5-star rarity, I highly recommend NP rank 2. That damage boost from 900 to 1200% is huge. As far as craft essences go for Artoria, she really doesn't have to worry about any sort of NP gain, so we can overall dump all of our focus into damage. My two biggest recommendations would be the Black Grail as well as Formal Craft. The Black Grail, an 80% NP strength boost on Limit Break, is ideal for her absolutely decimating some very tough bosses. Of course, if you don't have the Black Grail, a 5-star that I've found more common with people is, of course, Formal Craft. An overall arts card effectiveness increase of 30% will not only increase her Noble Phantasm damage, but will also increase her subsequent NP gain from her arts cards as well. You can also choose to give her another ending on top of that. The arts card effectiveness boost isn't as substantial, but you do get a critical hit strength boost of 25% tacked on, and that 25% crit strength boost, she's gonna use it since she is an archer after all. Now, as far as your supporters go, I of course have to recommend any arts effectiveness boosting servants. Of course, she works really well with herself in her caster incarnation. Caster Artoria providing arts card effectiveness as well as a slew of NP charge boosting skills. On top of that, she has an invincibility buff, which Artoria really needs in this incarnation because she has no survivability whatsoever. Of course, there are also freebie options as well if you don't have an Artoria caster or a Tamamo no Mai to speak of. There is, of course, Hohenheim. Hohenheim, very underrated servant, has a strong NP gain attached to his gut skill, and this can allow Artoria to loop her Noble Phantasm more reliably. If you're looking for someone in the 4-star game, well, there is, of course, Helena, Caster Gil, and Sakamoto Ryoma, though Ryoma might end up competing with Artoria over those crit stars, so be mindful of that. Of course, I did promise you some male servants that could take full advantage of her star drop rate upskill, and I've got 2 freebies as well as a 4-star that can do just that. Our freebies are Sasaki Kojiro as well as Hassan of the Cursed Arm. Sasaki Kojiro has an absolutely incredible boost in his knowledge of the Sowa skill, increasing his star drop rate to a staggering 90%. If you combine that with Artoria's skill, you're going to be getting a ton of critical stars. His Noble Phantasm grants bonus critical stars as well. You're just going to be rolling in the stars with the Regend on your side. Of course, Hassan of the Cursed Arm, a servant I have a personal soft spot for. I really love this man. His protection against the wind skill is not only going to provide him survivability, but a solid 30% increase to his critical star drop rate. And of course, for our 4-star servant, we have the Assassin of Shinjuku, Yan King. Yan King's second skill, Espionage, which later gets upgraded into Doppelganger, really increases his star drop rate by a significant amount. Honestly comparable to Hassan of the Cursed Arm. You get that 20 to 30% boost, and on top of that, he can choose to decrease his star gather rate on a whim while also gaining critical stars for your team. So you can easily funnel those stars into Artoria whenever you need them. Now, as for our command codes, I've got to recommend command codes that either draw stars to the cards that you really want Artoria to get those stars towards, or command codes that overall increase her NP gain. And we've got 2 3-stars and a 5-star to recommend. For her arts cards, I've gotta recommend Immature Illusionary Command Seal. When engraved on an arts card, this increases the star absorption of that card by 100%. So you are making sure those stars go towards the cards that you want to crit the most to get that NP gain. For your quick cards, I've got to recommend the Crest of Titan's Pit. This increases the NP generation rate of that engraved card by 5%. It's just a wee bit of a boost, but gang, if you end up drawing those quick cards, you really need to Noble Phantasm and you want to maximize your NP gains off of them, this is going to be the best way to do it. And finally, for her Buster card, there's no NP gain on that normally, you say. Well, we can fix that with Magus of Flowers. Once every 3 turns, you can use this to charge her NP gauge by 10% when attacking using the engraved card. Now, you've changed that Buster card's NP gain from 9 non-existent to a flat 10% at all times. This ensures that even if you end up having to use her Buster card, you're gonna at least get something out of it. Overall, Summer Artoria is basically that kid you would go to laser tag with that is very, very confident in your abilities. Yeah, that kid's gonna end up going in there and absolutely destroying people because he has near perfect aim, but he's very, very sure of himself and has absolutely no defensive options available. So if people end up ganging up on him, he's probably going to go down super, super fast. And that is easily transcribable to Artoria. You need to give her allies that end up giving her the defensive options that she doesn't have. But if you're able to do that, you're going to find a consistently reliable, consistently powerful arts type attacker to fill pretty much any of the needs for your team. She hasn't really had much of an upgrade and still remains relevant as an arts type servant on JP to this day. It's truly phenomenal. And gang, as always, I do want to hear from you, so go ahead and let me know any and all of your thoughts about Summer Artoria down in the comments section below. If you're looking to talk more FGO, of course there is a Discord server for the channel. I've got a link for that down in the description. If you think I'm doing a good job and want to support me more financially, then there is, of course, the Patreon as well. I've got a link for that down below, and all future streams are gonna be on Twitch, so you can check me out at the Twitch channel also in the description. I hope you're all having a phenomenal day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.